Welcome back to Music Kingdom. This time around, I'll be taking a break from the type of content that I usually create on this channel, which is typically analyzing, reviewing, grading songs after listening to them. And instead, I feel like doing what I usually do in my own spare time, aside from listening to music, which is watching the greats perform. I've been going through some comments on a few of the reviews that I've done, and I noticed one of them had a ton of likes, suggesting that I check out the live version of a specific song in particular. And so, in this video, instead of reviewing, we will be watching and enjoying Hallowed Be Thy Name by Iron Maiden. Stay tuned. Hey everybody, my name is Francis. If you are a fellow nerd for music, such as myself, click the like button and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you'd like to support the work I put into these videos, you'll find Music Kingdom's Patreon and other affiliate links in the description below. Alright, now usually at this part of my videos, before I listen to, or in this case, watch a song, I talk about the history and context of either the song, the album, or both. Which, if I'm remembering correctly, I did at length back when I originally reviewed the song Hallowed Be Thy Name from The Number of the Beast. So if you're wanting that contextual refresher, I'll put the link in the description. Otherwise, before watching, I think I'll just say a few words about the version I chose and why I chose it. First of all, at least subjectively speaking, when it comes to performing artists that I am crazy about, I am so picky regarding which version someone else checks out, especially if it's a first impression, and so often the result on YouTube that has the most views is not the one that you'd want them to see. So I went to Reddit and literally found a thread asking people what their favorite live versions of Hallowed Be Thy Name are. And the version with the most votes was Beast over Hammersmith 1982 from the tour The Beast on the Road. And my response to that was perfect, because when it comes to my personal favorite performing artists, I am such a nerd for the evolution that takes place over years and years of performing, honing, and mastering their craft on stage. Every master showman started somewhere. And in addition to that, I would also learn that on this tour, Iron Maiden were the openers, opening for Rainbow, UFO, 38 Special, Scorpions, Foreigner, and Judas Priest. And I quote, "Although Maiden was the opening act for all of these bands, it was this tour when it was decided that Iron Maiden would not be an opening act again." Which is something else I love that goes hand in hand with evolution, and that would be prophecy. And correct me if I'm wrong, but it's also the only one with Clive Burr on the drums. And so with all that said, yes, I am very excited to check it out. Now just a heads up, I will be pausing a couple times to share my thoughts, but ultimately to avoid any copyright strikes. But otherwise, let's waste no more time and get right to it. I love thinking about how, with it being 1982, these people probably have no idea what's about to happen.
Waiting in my cold cell when the bell begins to chime, reflecting on my past life, and it doesn't have much time. 'Cause at 5 o'clock they take me to the gallows pole. The sands of time,
I've always appreciated their suspense,
are running low.
the way they would build up an intro. Hold that note. Oh, shit. I think he was signaling to turn up the sound. Alright, thoughts so far. Immediately my mind goes to context and history. Now, you guys will have to tell me in the comments exactly where this show was, but at least speaking for the United States. I see a lot of youngsters in the crowd, but I can't imagine their parents would have necessarily taken them. In 1982, this was the Reagan administration. The United States as a country was more conservative, was more Christian, and around that time is when metal was definitely growing in the United States, and so there was what was called the Satanic Panic. But I just find that interesting in my own nerdy way. Now, regarding the performance itself, you can obviously see how tight they are, how rehearsed they are, and while I am aware that Bruce has a powerhouse of a voice, I will honestly say I am a little bit surprised as to how close to the record he's getting. Absolutely nailing it. If I was in that crowd and they were new to me, I mean, holy shit. What an introduction, honestly.
When the priest of the raid made the last race, take a look to the bars of the last sight of a world that has gone very wrong for me. Can it be that there's some sort of error at the start of some mounting terror? Is it really the end of some crazy dream? Somebody please come in that I'm dreaming. It's not easy to stop from screaming, but words escape me when I try to speak. Take moment, why am I crying? After all, I'm not afraid of dying. Could I believe that there never is a day?
Oh. It almost sounds like Dio, at least his live sound. And I'm impressed that he's matching the studio recording almost note for note. I like his charisma too, his stage presence. The band is so tight, you would almost think that they're using the playback track.
As the guys march out to the courtyard, somebody cries from the sound, tell me when you. And there's a God, why does he let me go?
Holy shit, the intensity. That would give me such a headache. It's exhausting. I would be lightheaded. Alright, thoughts at this point. I mean, I already talked about it, but my god, what a voice. It does not take a vocal coach on YouTube to tell you how exhausting executing that is. I also want to shout out Clive on the drums. I am not going to sit here and pretend to be some drumming connoisseur, but I grew up watching enough Phil Collins with Genesis live to know that this is an insane performance. I also want to mention the guitars harmonizing with each other. I mean, it gets me every time I hear the song, and to see it is extra special. I think when I'm listening to the studio version, I can really tune in more to the lyrics and the amazing songwriting that this song has. And when I'm watching live, it's not that I disregard the lyrics, but I'm more entranced with the talent that is obviously right before your eyes. And lastly, I know I already kind of alluded to it, but just the intensity and talent of Bruce working together on stage. In my opinion, at least, very few performers are that good. And to be so young and the prophecy of it all, it just, okay. I love being able to hear all the instruments working together. Like the bass right now. Their execution, especially being so young, is insanely well done. And Bruce's energy is insane. Oh my god. Usually the job of the frontman to engage with the audience, and what a natural. why they would never open for anybody again. Alright, last few thoughts before the song ends. What charisma this guy has. What a natural performer he already is. And I grew up watching a lot of shit, right? Because my taste has always been for the greats. So I saw a lot of Michael Jackson, Phil Collins, Neil Diamond, Chicago, Queen, Stevie Wonder, Earth, Wind & Fire, the Bee Gees, so on and so forth. The common theme with all of those I just mentioned being talent. So then I think about Bruce and it being 1982, and at this point in time the two best performers, entertainers on stage would be Freddie Mercury and Michael Jackson, or I suppose the Jacksons, because Michael wouldn't tour solo until 87. So what I'm getting at is you have someone like this who has some of what they have in a genre of music that was on the rise. So I'm just contextually trying to wrap my head around how important a performance like this is. Now, with all that said, I acknowledge there is Black Sabbath, I acknowledge there is Metallica, so I'm not trying to say that Bruce is the Michael or Freddie of the genre of metal, but I am curious as to who that would be, who in y'all's opinion would be the biggest, best entertainer performer of the metal genre of all time. Let me know in the comments and let's wrap this up. Amazing. It's like a symphony of rock with its classical roots. How exhausting. Wow. Flawless. The power. Wow. Minus a few moments, you think he's lip syncing. It's that good. I cannot imagine being in that audience. Holy shit. What an experience that was. I'm kind of at a loss because on one hand, I did already say pretty much all of the thoughts I had, and I don't want to ramble on being repetitive or redundant. I'm also at a loss because on the other hand, as someone who grew up absolutely in love with music, watching their favorite artists perform, this performance was just excellent. Such talent at such a young age, and I can only imagine the evolution of that song over future years. I'm very excited in my own time to do some of that homework and just binge, but I'll also encourage you guys to drop your favorite performances of this song in the comments below, as well as any other live performances by either Iron Maiden or whoever else. As mentioned, if you are a fellow nerd for music, such as myself, click the like button and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you'd like to support the work I put into these videos, you'll find Music Kingdom's Patreon and other affiliate links in the description below. This has been another edition of Music Kingdom. Thank you so much for watching with me, and I'll look forward to jamming with you in the next one.